Welcome to the real review. What's the real review about? Is after playing 50 hours, you know, it's not just as simple of how to play the game. You've got to see the story. And if you'd like to see me continue this story, please do mention in the comments below. But we have valiantly got to chapter up to this point. We went to chapter 22 and beyond. We have discovered and beaten one of the fearsome opponents that lays dormant within the ancient forge. But now the heroes themselves, wonder what you think of this amazing board game. Now, it has gotten so complex with the heroes. Just to run it through, I'm playing with 5 heroes. Not to say anything wrong with that. I love it very, very, very much. And I even love the game even more now that I've played it so much. And this is why you don't see me doing so many unboxing, because there's so many others that do unboxing, but it doesn't give you the grasp of, other than the content, of what this game encompasses, all right, and what it has to offer. And there's so many ways you could play around with it and use its tokens for many other things, though. Especially this statistic, tokens, which is attributes, like the strength, the constitution, uh, speed and wisdom and intellect and charisma, etc. Sounds like D&D all over again, and I love it. And look at this. There's just so much things the hero can do. It just and by the way, there's like nearly 10 XP which I didn't dispense of, that I could have used more to get more skills and more abilities, and not only that, to level them up to level 2, and everything is level 2 pretty much, so. And if you look even at another, let's push another hero here. Like let's say we go to one of our spellcasters who we like very much. He is Lightweaver. And again, look at all this, formidable. And he has some laying XP extra, And this is the statistic I love. Look at that, +4 in intellect. Now, it would be nice to see what they would do carrying on forward, because I would love to see how they evolve even further. But that's irrelevant, and that's not the point here. What I want to give you is a full encompassing review and feeling and feedback of this game, before you, my valiant fans, and observers, decide if I should continue the story. And either ways, I plan to come to it back in the future, but we've gotten so in depth into the story, and we have pretty much got a good concept and idea of how the game plays, what is the idea, what is the storyline, what is the plot line. And the beautiful thing, I've missed so many chapters. It's not because I've skipped them. It's pretty much because the story is like an adventure book where you choose your own adventure and you pretty much detail where you want to go for. We went on the Valiant way. Forge Warner wanted to save the villagers, and because of that, there's a lot of things that he pushed forward, avoiding the Wanderer, if you're following the story in any way. Now again, there's so much story to it. There's so much detail to it. And when you compare it to many other games, this is something amazing, superb. It deserves the credit. Steamforge has done a phenomenal job, in my opinion. Again, there's other board games that give stories and kind of adventure, choose your own adventure kind of, method, etc. But the in-depth play around and the possibilities, the variety, and the things, the way the mechanics work, it just makes it so in-depth. And because the heroes are becoming more, how can I say, formidable and strong, etc., the 5 heroes that we've been playing with, if you've been following, it has made it so much harder, because the videos have become much longer, that I had to cut and edit to the point it looked weird, as if I'm skipping things or something like that, and things didn't just make sense anymore, because the videos were going like 5 hours to some of them 6 hours and 7 hours, and so it was just so much, because I sit, I play, and I enjoy it. So, but most important, I want you all to enjoy it as much as I do, enjoying the story, enjoying where it's going. And you know what, I have to say, we only scratched the surface. This is nothing compared. This is like about 10 times the amount of this stack, of where you get challenge aspect cards and battle aspect cards, and sometimes they're thematic, so the story does tell you to remove some and add some, and they just make the chapter or the active scenario encounter even more interesting. So again, with the token system where you see it a little bit here, where you see, you get the, wow, sorry, just trying to get my board here. So, you got the gold like any typical, and then you got the fate token, which empowers you, like, think of it your mana, and then you got the charm that's kind of, gives you the mana potion to enable you to get back your fate tokens, and you got your healing potions, and then you got your items. We got all sorts of items, and you got story items, and you got, treasure gear, etc. So there's so much things that go in this game that it doesn't do it fair. And now playing over 50 hours of it, I can pretty much say that, a lot of the negativity, doesn't do it justice, because, and what I originally said why I love this game, well, I am now even emboldened by it, of what I said, because of the fact that what this game has offered and is offering. Look, and based as we traveled through the Ancient Forge, we faced different foes. So it wasn't goblins against goblins. Oh, goblins. Oh my God, goblins again. Oh my God, an orc. Oh, another orc. No, there's actually many, many types. There's bugbears. There's weird creatures also, and they have special abilities, and they fight different methods, and there's ways to damage it, etc. And how you injure it and wounded, I mean, etc. And they have their own skill abilities, etc. And they have their own special method of doing damage, etc. So again, and then there's different kind of scenario encounters. Now there's the lame, and I don't call it lame bashing in any way, like the standard crawl we're all used to, the dungeon crawl, you have a layout and this, that. But some things, it's just like random. And the tile setup, they give you totally random. And this is not the complete decks. There's much more to it, and they tell you to remove and add. So they try to, engage you in the scenarios, or depending on where, how far you got into the whole Ancient Forge. So again, this game is phenomenal. I haven't gone through all the skills and abilities, and you know what, with playing 5 characters, and just look, here is another character, and our amazing Fire Soul, if you've been following, and look at all her skills, and that is nothing compared to, she has also these things to, to take care of, so it's just all this when you're doing every decision and method, and sometimes you're gonna make a mistake because you're controlling 5 characters, the board is moving, enemies are all over the place, etc. So, but in the end, and the way the bosses fight, they have a special method, and which makes them even more engrossing and challenging compared to fighting a regular enemy. So they kind of levitate kind of, the challenge, in a sense of giving it like the bosses here, like you can have an enemy where it's just a regular typical enemy, once you kill it, right? And then you have some that are racial, proficient. If you like damage any of its other races, it kind of forces them to become a little berserker kind of, mad. You got the ogres, you got all sorts of, different enemies and foes, and then you got all sorts of different conditions and effects and stats and things that could do damage, can do damage, etc. So, and we didn't go through all the miniatures, and the miniatures are perfect. I'm not one to color it, and we didn't go through all the characters. Don't forget, we got rangers, we got different kind of, monks. So you can play all sorts. A typical warrior, but there again, I love Forge Warden. Nobody's better than Forge Warden. Okay, and Forge Warden is kind of, the story kind of revolves around him, if you've been following it at all, kinda, and in the end, if you all decide that I should continue it, then you'll pretty much follow suit to what he is, what it revolves around him, and how, he got entangled into it. I don't know the whole story. I just know it up to date, where we stand at, but I do want to give this real review, and a real review to give you the understanding of what and so amazing this game is. Now, I made it in the comments, I'll mention it here. You must get the Fable expansion. Getting the other expansion, the level, deeper levels, level something like that expansion, is also worth it because it gives you extra skills and more foes, and it kind of expands on the campaign a bit, but which is always good. So, is this something great to play with your friends? Yes. Is there a great story and challenge to it? Yes. Is this something that you can play in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes? No. You know what I mean? But an encounter, yes. So, I hope one does not confuse the difference. A quest is this, right? One can argue. This is chapter 16. That's the quest. The Mushroom Swamp, which we never did because we decided to go after the villagers to save them because we're valiant heroes. Not to say the other decision was not good, and we don't know what will bring you to this chapter 16. But either ways, and that's the beautiful thing, certain decisions make you go to certain chapters. But as you could see, this in a standard crawl maximum will take you like a half hour. But there's different kind of encounters that might push you, like this Outlast, where you face different kind of enemies, and depending on the kind of enemies, those encounters can make it tough. So you're not going to finish a whole chapter by one sit down. That's for sure. But that's what makes it so special. If you have the right group or you do the family kind of adventure, you play out through the week or whatever it is, and you play one chapter and you see how the story unfolds and certain decisions, etc. And you do upgrades, so that's a good thing. A lot of the maintenance phase I kind of skip because the heroes will just become too overwhelming and too powerful that, like I just said, there's nearly 10 XP, which I do not dispense for each hero. So that's like 5 here, that's 50 XP to dispense, about 10 XP for each hero. So again, this is amazing. It gets total thumbs up from RPGAMEPIRE. I can't wait for what they will do to better this game. Idea-wise, what I would wanted more, oddly enough, would be a bit more of a variety of skills, I would say, per se. But I was a little bit, disheartened. After a while, there was a lot of redundancy in the skills. Not between characters, but the same character. So there's he couldn't or she couldn't evolve a little bit more beyond the simplification. But in the end, still amazing. I would want more skills, and that's for sure. More skills and more foes. Nothing hurts there. That's amazing. And tokens, we have abundant of tokens, And I want them to introduce new skills, And when I say new skills or ability, I mean conditions, I should say, or attack effects or something like that. That will be neat. And I'm sure there's new concepts and this and that. But overall, that's pretty much it. And a more engrossing story evolving. And again, we have so much of this. I just want to show you, this is just the, attack aspect card, battle aspect cards, Look at that, You can't go through that in one sitting. No, it's not made to go through one sitting, but it evolves as you progress, and it makes it more relevant. And you can create your own stories, your own adventures with these characters. You can multi-class, as mentioned before. So, again, total thumbs up. I would give it remarkably so a 9 on 10. And I'm not shy from saying 10 on 10, but this is a true RPGAMEPIRE kind of style game. Now we're going to jump to another game, unless you all decide that I should push forward the story, and see how it transpires and evolves as you would like to see the ending of it. And we would come to it at some point. Now there's also something that I would want for all of you to see. This is something that comes, now if I stop playing, what would happen? Would I forget what happened, etc., this, that? Nope. You see, you could put this, like this, all this, and I know this looks ridiculous at this point, but with this, you can kind of pretty much, kind of put it like this, and it kind of, you see, look at that. It protects it from kind of dispensing and falling out. So this is something I want you also to see. So you could say pretty much, this is how the hero left last, on this saga. And we're going to probably return to it at some point, so it's good to save it this way. So I hope you enjoyed the real review, and we will future on give much more real reviews and do much comparison. I know a lot of been asking for comparisons from one board game to another, and I plan to do that in the future. But for now, more importantly, I just wanted you guys to get a real review, and that's future real reviews, and real reviews matter for you and everybody that would want to know more about this game. Thank you for watching. I hope you subscribe.